Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on this look. I'm going to kick it back a notch because I feel like recently all of my uploads have been either testing out makeup or using like a full face of drugstore or a full face of like high-end makeup. I've kind of had a reorganisation of all my makeup, so it's really inspired me to do something a little bit more different today, a little bit more colourful, and I'm really happy the way this turns out. I mean, I haven't worn blue eyeshadow for such a while, so I am really liking this look. So without any further ado, if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. I've already gone in and done all of my skincare and moisturisers, things like that. So to prime the skin, I'm going to be using the SMASHBOX Photo Finish Foundation Primer. This is the pore minimising one, and I'm just going to put this on the areas sort of around my nose where I have like larger pores. I also have a few up my forehead, a little on my chin, but mainly in this sort of area. So I really want to do some nice makeup today. I have blue on the brain at the moment. I've got a blue top on and I just really want to get some blue on my eyes and do something a little bit different. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So now I'm gonna be taking a little bit of the Hourglass foundation. This is their Vanish foundation stick. I believe they've just come out with a liquid form to this foundation that I really want to try out because I really like this one. So this is in the shade Linen for anyone that is wondering, and this matches me pretty well. I have like quite a yellow undertone, you could probably see on my neck, so I feel like this matches me really well. Okay, so that is one layer of that foundation. As you can see, it's quite a sheer coverage, which is quite nice for kind of like every day, but because we are going for like a glam makeup look today, I want to go a little bit extra and cover up pretty much everything on my face so we are flawless. This shade of foundation is pretty much like perfect for me. It matches me so well. Or like a stick foundation, this blends out really nicely. I find like some stick foundations can be quite drying and quite difficult to blend, but this honestly blends so well. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is in the shade Toast, and I'm just going to use this around the areas that I would normally contour. So in my opinion, these are like one of the best concealers to contour with. I love this shade from LA Girl because it's really nice and subtle. Like, it doesn't look too harsh on my skin tone. It just gives just a nice amount of definition. So now mixing in the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that e.l.f. Camo Concealer on top just to brighten and add some more coverage. I really have been enjoying mixing these two concealers at the moment. I love the way that it looks underneath the eyes. It's not drying, it doesn't crease as much, and it just really kind of holds up throughout the day. And I have done like a whole review on this e.l.f. Camo Concealer. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll leave it linked here. But honestly, this is such a good concealer from the drugstore. So I'm also going to be adding a little bit of that e.l.f. concealer to my chin, my forehead and down my nose. That's just to brighten up the face and again add some more kind of contour too. To bake underneath the eyes, I'm going to be taking my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Powder, and this is in the shade Butter, and I'm just going to use this underneath the eyes and basically on the areas that I just put concealer. Also going to put a little bit on my smile lines because I tend to find that my makeup cracks as well, but I don't do that. I'm also going to tidy up a little bit around the jawline. Okay, so I'm actually really enjoying the coverage at the moment. Like, I feel like I look like a porcelain doll, which isn't a bad look. So I'm just quickly going to contour my nose with the Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder, and I am nearly out of this powder, so I need to go and get another one. Also going to add a tiny amount of that to the cheekbones as well. I'm just going to blend that through with my magic brush. So when I was tidying up my makeup collection the other day, I stumbled across all of these Makeup Revolution palettes, and I don't think I've ever featured these in a video before. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I actually have this highlighting palette, I have 2 blusher palettes, I have another highlighting palette, and I also have a contour palette as well. So I'm going to take this contour palette first. So I'm going to take this shade right here, and I'm going to use this to bronze the face. So I need to switch up my bronzer game. I mean, I always use the same, which is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting one. I just love that bronzer so much, but I'm just getting a bit sick of using the same thing all the time. Like, I feel like I need to switch up and try some new things. This is actually blending out really, really nicely, and I actually quite like the colour of it as well. Okay, and now blending that out. Oh, I actually really like the way this looks. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. For a kind of affordable bronzer, this is actually really, really nice, and it blends out beautifully. Like, I really like the formula of these. I think can look a little bit muddy, so I think the more you blend it the better, and just go in with a lighter hand. But I really do like the way it blends out, and I also think the colour of it is really nice. Although it says like it's a contour shade, I think you can pretty much wear this as a bronzer. So I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of this banana-y powder right here, and on that same brush I'm going to tidy up the contour line. Okay, so now moving on to blush palettes. I actually have 3. Oh my god, I didn't realise I had so many of these. I mean, this one's really pretty because it has highlighters at the bottom, but these ones look really pretty. These are more like kind of orangey corals, and this is more kind of like pinks, hot pinks and browns, both of which have like highlighters in it as well. I don't think I'd ever use these highlighters because they're not very kind of wearable colours, but I think on the eyes they could look quite nice. But I think I'm going to use this one today. This is in the colour Hot Spice, and I'm actually going to take a mixture of these 2 shades right here. So I like to use a stippling brush for this, and just kind of like make this weird face and start stippling. Ooh, I really like the colour of these. So I really like the colour of that. It's really, really pretty, and they blend out really nicely as well. I feel like I might go in with a little bit more later on. I'm just going to kind of finish off the rest of my face first. I am going to go in with some highlighters now. So this is their highlighting palette. I think I'm going to take this one right here, and I've definitely used these before, but I mean, I haven't used these for ages. That's really pretty as well. It's definitely got like a gold shift in this, but really pretty. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this colour right next to it, this kind of like pearly pinky colour. I'm just going to hit the cheekbones with this one as well, just to go over the top. What I am going to do right now is spray my face with a little bit of Fix Plus. So I just want to melt all of those products on the face together, and then I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I'll be right back. So as I said before, I want to do something really kind of blue, a bit orange maybe, I'm not so sure. I'm just going to completely wing this look, you know. I feel like I create the best looks when I do that, and when it's not so thought out and planned. So I'm going to take this palette. This is by Morphe. This is the 35N palette, but I'm going to start off with a transitional shade today, and I'm going to be taking this one right here. So this is going to add a subtle amount of definition into the crease, but it's going to give a bit of colour to blend out the rest of the eyeshadows with. Like this colour, this is like really pretty. So diving back into the palette, I'm going to be taking this kind of orangey tanny shade, I suppose, and with the same brush just going to go through the crease with this as well. So I am going to go in with like a more of a stronger orangey shade, but by putting this one in first, you're going to create a lot more depth, and it's going to blend out a lot nicer when we apply the orange. Oh my god, I've got to use this palette today because I haven't used this in such a while. I used to love this palette back in the day. I mean, I still do, but I use this all the time for like really kind of dramatic looks and like Halloween looks, costume makeup, that type of thing. So this palette has been well loved. But I'm going to take this orangey shade right here. This is pretty much like a neon orange, but I don't want this look to be too neon. I just want to add a little pop just so you can see it through the crease. So I'm going to take a really light hand with this and just go over the crease. So if you didn't add a transitional shade and you just went straight in with this orange, it is going to look really, really intense and vibrant. But if you wanted a little bit more muted, by adding those transitional shades at first, it really does mute down the tone of the orange, so it makes it a lot more wearable. It's really a case of like playing around with what eyeshadows you have and like adding them on top of one another and layering them, because that's when you're going to get like different effects and different colours as well. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of this orange right here. This is by Makeup Geek. In fact, all of these eyeshadows that I have here are by Makeup Geek. I use these a lot, although I haven't used them as much recently, but I used to literally use these every single day. So I'm going to switch up my brush as well. This is a more tapered brush. So again, I'm just going to throw this in the crease and blend it out. So I also have another palette full up of Makeup Geek eyeshadows. So I'm going to take this one right here. I don't actually know the name of this. Americano. So I'm just going to put this in the crease as well. And now I've just switched my brushes again. I'm using a pencil brush because I want the application of this colour to be a lot more controlled. So again, I'm just going into the crease. And I'm not worrying too much about the blending at the moment because I'm going to be carving out the crease in a while. But I just want to kind of lay the initial colour down at first. So I'm also going to be putting a little bit of this shade on to the outer corner of my lid as well, and just kind of winging it slightly. So I'm going to dive back into that orange, and now I'm going to start blending it through. So I'm just going to use like small circular motions at first and really build up the intensity. So I really feel like no one talks about Makeup Geek anymore. Like, there was a time a few years ago where everything was Makeup Geek, and you know what I mean, all the Makeup Geek eyeshadows were really popular, but I feel like they've just kind of, as a brand, dropped off the face of the planet. So I've watched Marlena's recent videos, and I know that she mentioned that she doesn't really send a lot of PR out anymore, so I feel like that's why it's not gaining the exposure that it used to. But honestly, I love their products so much, and it's just such a shame that they're not getting kind of like the coverage that they used to, because they are such good quality products, and for the money, I mean, they're absolutely amazing. They're really, really hard to get hold of in the UK. I feel like the only place I can buy these is from Beauty Bay, but Beauty Bay actually have quite a good selection. But when I have ordered from Makeup Geek in the past, I've ordered direct on their website, and when I received it, I had to pay like tax and shipping, which added like more money to the order, so it wasn't very worthwhile for me, I suppose. So it's really good that Beauty Bay does stock it, but I just wish they had like more of a selection. So I'm also taking that brown again, and I'm mixing it with a little bit of black just to intensify the outer corners a little bit more. So I'm not adding any more orange to the mix, I'm just literally using what's left on the brush. So now taking the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease canvas. I've used this a lot ever since I first started trying this, and I really do like it. It just makes such a nice change from using like concealers for me. So now taking a little bit of that Americano shade again, I'm just going to diffuse the edges so there's no like harsh line. So I'm actually going to use this blue today. This is by Morphe in the colour Sapphire. I'm going to pack this on over the top of the cut crease. So I feel like you need to kind of build this up. The best way to do it is like by patting and pressing this eyeshadow on. But this is pretty much like 2 coats. And I mean, it is just so beautiful. So I feel like as much as I love this blue, I also just want to intensify it a little bit more. So I'm going to be taking this Cobalt shade from the Urban Decay Electric palette. So now I'm going to be going in with a black eyeshadow. I feel like I need to re-intensify the outer corner. And I'm also going to go over the crease with this as well. Going back into the shade Morocco. I'm just going to use this on the lower lash line. And then with a little bit of the shade Americano, I'm going to run this through as well. So now I'm just going to add a wing. Okay, so my battery just died, so I just threw on some lashes and now I'm gonna move on to lips. So I do want to go for something a little bit more muted today and maybe sort of tying in these kind of orangey tones. So I think I'm going to take this Lip Couture waterproof liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Latte Confession. So it's definitely more pink than I wanted it to be, but I might have to go in with something else. So I'm going to go over the top with this gloss. This is a NARS lip gloss in the colour Orgasm. So guys, this is the finished look. I'm so happy with this. I love the colour and kind of like the orange and the blues. It just looks so, so good. And yeah, I just feel like I want to go out now, but I've got nowhere to go. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and I will see you all again on Thursday. Bye.